Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, we're gonna talk about another one of the Chief Challenge bosses, and this time it's going to be the Fathomdown boss, which takes more damage from cold damage, which is basically Ice Blast, Frost, or anybody else that's from the from the cold pairing. And honestly, from the point of view of the damage that you can do, if you're somebody that's, let's say, free to play or low spend, or you don't have any of the high level or like any of the exclusive or any of the other like strong damage dealing ones, I have a feeling that at least from the damages that I've seen, I have a feeling that this one's the easiest one for everybody to be able to get a high damage, right? The reason for that is the damage potential that Ice Blast can actually do over here, and that's why I believe this one to be the easiest, but at the same time it's the trickiest because the boss himself has a few mechanics that make it a little bit hard to deal with him in certain things. So let's go through his kit and then I'm going to show you the team that I'm using, and this is pretty much for this week. Like already by the time you see this video, I've already used the team because this is like the next after it reset for the first day, right? You see here still it says 8 hours and 50 minutes. Well, I had already used the fight, but let's look at the kit. So first of all, on the passive, there's a 20% chance of reducing the damage taken by 20% and inflicting attack penalty 1 on the attacker for 5 seconds when taking damage. This effect can only be triggered once every 10 seconds. So pretty much you're guaranteed to almost always, or at least like, every 10 seconds you're gonna have attack penalty for 5 seconds. So that's gonna lower your damage by quite a bit. And countering this is a little bit hard, right? I was looking at ideas, I was looking at teams trying to be able to counter this, but because of the next thing that the boss has, it's kind of hard to try and build a resistance team, because you need around 280, like if you want for your DPS to resist this, so you might just be having to deal with it, take the damage reduction, and it is what it is. Now, what are the next things and why did I say it's so difficult? Well, this is the battle skill, right, that he does twice. So gains accuracy bonus for 5 seconds, which means you're gonna need 25% more resistance in order to resist the debuffs. Then he deals lightning damage to enemies within range with a 100% chance of inflicting knocked up and 75% chance to inflict stunned. He does this twice, and the good thing, I guess, is the fact that he only does this right in the front range. So if you can deal with it where you only have one person that takes this, you're pretty much fine, right? Just have a tank maybe and try and get as much focus to that tank, and then have ranged DPS. That would be the ideal way to do it. So he does this twice, and then the ultimate, he casts the spell for 8 seconds, summons lightning bolts to strike random enemies every 1 second in the meantime, dealing lightning damage to them and all nearby enemies. So you do not want to have people adjacent to each other, because that means they're going to take more damage, right? So you want to have at least one square in between them wherever you're going to place them. I'm going to show you how I place mine. Also, he has a 35% chance of inflicting accuracy penalty on them for 5 seconds, reducing their ultimate by 5%. So this one's a little bit different than the way that Fathomdown himself has the kit. Normally this one's attack penalty that he lands, but this one's accuracy penalty, so it's a bit tricky, which means it might be tricky for your debuffers to land the debuffs, but it's I think it's pretty much manageable and it's pretty doable, and this is pretty much the team that I'm using, right? So I'm using Quesatia as my tank. The reason why she's really good, she brings a chance to land recharging speed penalty, which means the boss is gonna get to his ultimate slower. On the battle skill, this one doesn't really matter because it doesn't help with much, but it helps because of the fact that she's gonna be in the serial whisper for me. But then the cool thing about her is she can self-sustain as a tank and bring us attack penalty, and because she has 3 hits on the ultimate, she's the perfect candidate for the Witch's Remains, right? If you don't have her, then well, any other, I guess you would look at Ice Necrosis, you would look at attack penalty, that's what I would suggest, and see whoever's your best tank. Like, for example, maybe you have a Vinyara, right? Vinyara could be a good option for a tank as well, because she lands attack penalty, she removes all buffs, she pushes back ultimate energy, and she's really powerful for that. Plus she has the self-sustain on this one, and also she is immune to control effects, right? This can occur every 6 seconds. So pretty much if the boss, maybe that's what I should do, right? I'm gonna try for next week and build Vignara, but Vignara could be the perfect one because you would keep the boss attack penalty pretty much most of the time, right? Because it's 16 seconds, it's on for 10 seconds, it's, you know, pretty consistent, and then again, she has lots of self-sustain, so that makes her really powerful. Then if you don't have even Rippercast could be good. He's not 100% guaranteed to always land the attack penalty, but he brings lots of other debuffs, so he can be another good option for that attack penalty as a tank, right? Now, the thing that I'm using over here is pretty much Quesetia, like I said. As my healer, I'm using Fenja, and I've done some testing, and honestly, the Horn gave me better results than having the Gatekeeper Staff on her, because the Horn gives us 15% more damage, right? Gatekeeper Staff would give us the shields. However, if you do manage to survive, which I pretty much noticed that I did, this one's gonna be enough. And then for Ice Blast people, I have Sheena, which is pretty much the best enabler for Ice Crystals. If you don't have Sheena, then the next best thing would be Bledden, right? As an enabler. Right, because Bledden also brings you. Let me see, why did it not let me? Why does it not show me there? What's happening? Okay, I guess let me just scroll to it. So Bledden is the next best thing. Why does it not allow me? What's happening? Oh yeah, I have the attack penalty selected. Okay, dummy, I am dumb. But if we look at it, the next best thing for enabling them is gonna be him, because he gives ice crystals to himself and the ally with the highest attack, right? So that could be your next best DPS. Now, when it comes to one of the best DPS as a free-to-play, it's gonna be Nadja, right? Funny enough, she is actually better than Gerthin, unfortunately. Like, I was a bit sad when I saw that, but at the same time, I'm happy because everybody can get her if you just get to Fae Meander stage 60, right? I think it's Fae. It's either Fae or Pillar of Trials, but I think it's actually Fae, and she's just really powerful. You know what, let me see, because I can check over here. Can we see inspirations or something? No. Anyway, I'm not gonna look at that, but I'm quite sure it's from Fae Meander. She's really powerful with the damage that she can do, and she's one of the best DPS to choose. Obviously, if you have Beldel, the exclusive, you're gonna go with that. But if you don't have any of the exclusives or any of the legendaries and you just have epics, then you would go with something like this, right? You would go with Nadia, then you would go with Bledden, and then Gerthin. This should be like the perfect combination. However, if not, this is what you would do. I'm even debating maybe I would try getting Zorak in there instead of Gerthin, because Gerthin goes in front, and because she does that, she gets stunned a lot of the time by the boss's battle skill. Even though I put this positioning, let me show you how the fight goes. Even though I put this positioning, because of the way that his battle skill happens, it's like a 3x3 square. He always does that. Let me just show you. See, we got stunned there. You're gonna see when she does that again, I'm gonna get stunned again. Or knocked up, or both, depending on that. See, okay, this time I guess I got lucky, I resisted it, but pretty much having two melee units is counterintuitive, because the other melee unit is not gonna, you know, it's not gonna be as efficient, because they can keep getting stunned like you see over there. That's not gonna be good, and it happens twice. So again, I'm gonna personally test from next week to see if Zorak is going to be better, and maybe I'm even going to test Miro. I'm not sure if Miro is melee or ranged. If he's melee, I'm not going to test him, but I'm going to see how it does with Zorak instead of Gerthin in here, or maybe even Bledden, right? I might try all of them, and if I see that that variation does better, I'm going to make another video that I'm going to call, you know, I guess the final team for Fathomdown, and I'm going to share it with you to try and give you the best possible option so you can do as much damage as you can do against this one. I mean, I'm quite sure if you have the strong Frost heroes, you can try with that. However, I don't think Frost can compete as well against this boss compared to Ice Blast, right? Ice Blast are specialists for single target damage, or for like stuff that's like you know, Vortex, which is where they are specialists on. But if you tested it, right? If you tested Ice Blast and you tested Frost, but you know, if you're using a Frost team with, I don't know, an Inspired 5 Dritz and Inspired 5 what's his name, Oster, and like, you know, if you have fully inspired, that's not comparable, right? If you had maybe Rava, Usha, stuff like that, let me know which one did better so that I can share with everybody else as well. But this team pretty much gets me to around like 80 million when I did it. I honestly tried some timings. Maybe if I manualed it, I could do more, but pretty much on full auto with this team, I can do around 85 million. That's the damage that I did the highest. And it kind of looks like that's what is going to go the same over there. I even tried some different builds. I tried with resist. Okay, that was even better. 87. I even tried to do a resistance build on my Questia so she can land a defense penalty as often as possible, but I didn't quite wasn't quite able to reach it, and the reason for that is it's hard to time. It's hard to time it because she has that, because she has that recharging speed penalty. It's hard to make her always land the debuffs at the same time, or like always have the resistance up, right? Because Finja brings you resistance up, so that should help you. But it's tough because, like I said, at the same time, the boss brings accuracy bonus. So maybe there's a perfect combination. Again, I'm going to play around with it, and if I find the perfect combination, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to try and share, what's the best option for this. But when it comes to builds, pretty straightforward. Witch's Remains and Cyril's Whisper on Questia, because she's my debuffer and it helps that she's my tank. Then Finja's running the Ancestral Protection with obviously Mona Lisa's Blessing Chest and the Horn, because it gives me most damage. My main DPS is running Poison of Swamp, the best damage artifact. I'm quite sure this one's even better than the exclusive artifact, because last season, for example, I tested the Roots against the exclusive artifact for Ice Blast, not the exclusive, the specific artifact for Ice Blast, and the Roots was better, so 100% Poison of Swamp is going to be better. Then my Gerthin is running Silver Star Horseshoe because I wanted more crit damage. Shade of Death on Gerthin, Shade of Death on, Naja has Emissary's Whisper, and then Sheena's, she's wearing the Chest of Radiance, right? This is the one that you get if you finish Pillar 60, so if you don't have this one, just get another damaging artifact on Sheena so you can make her do as much damage as possible. And then again, she's running an Emissary's Whisper, pretty much whatever have my best damage pieces, and obviously I gave them the Strike the Unprepared so they do more damage against targets with defense penalty. But yeah, this is pretty much the team that I'm using. It's also really cool the fact that the Nadia also brings a crit damage aura in all battles, right? So this is going to be awesome because we can use it here. Otherwise, the only other one that you could use is if you bring Bled in, and that's an HP one. And it's not as good. You want to get as much damage as possible. But yeah, anyway, this is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful. And if it was, please like it, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.